Good morning, Kenya. Rise and shine to the morning momentum. Your daily dose of a comprehensive rundown of the top stories making the headlines. It is the 12th day of August 2025. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and the program on air, as usual, is the morning momentum. This is a daily compendium of local and international news, human interest stories, current affairs, and expert opinion. Use the hashtag the morning momentum at Younib Media TV Kenya at Alphonce. Let's take a look at the top stories on the Daily Nation this morning. Storm over hiring 10,000 police officers is the elephant in the room. Now, Reforms Commission has kicked off countrywide public hearings on new recruitment guidelines. A power struggle between police boss Douglas Kanja and the National Police Service Commission could derail an upcoming recruitment drive, with the commission now split into two factions, writing to the IG to reclaim human resource functions, including hiring, promotions, and transfers. That story is beefed up for you on page 1, page 5 of the Daily Nation this morning. On the cover page, more millions houses offer for Harambee stars. President raises reward to each player to 2.5 million shillings should the national football team win Sunday's match against Zambia. A sweeter deal awaits should the team qualify for the knockout stage. We'll take a look at that on the cover page. On page 14 this morning, court bars import of duty-free white rice. The government's plan to import 500,000 tons of white rice has been suspended by the High Court following petition by Farmers' Party, which claims the move will hurt local farmers. Now, on page 6, 8 billion shillings claims for civil servants and tutors probed. This is all about insurance. Senator petitions House to investigate unpaid health insurance claims for families of public servants who died or were injured while on duty. And on page 3 this morning, cancer patient now runs out of life-saving drugs. Gatamu Waigwa took his final dose of life-saving cancer medication yesterday. The 70-year-old retired anesthetist now faces an uncertain future without a comprehensive deal with the Social Health Authority. That is beefed up for you on page 3. Let's get up close and candid with the Nation on page 2. Meru traders gain as show comes to town. Now, this is all about the Kenya National Music Festival. Deputy President Kindiki, Education CS Ogamba, expected to attend the gala concert. And that is what is beefed up for you on page 2. They say hotels, restaurants, and boda boda riders in Meru, Makutano, and Nkubu make brisk business from visitors attending the feat. That story is on page 2. On page 3 this morning, not good enough. Retired medic in desperate fight for cancer treatment as SHA falls short. Waigwa predicament centers on a shortfall between promised and actual support. Solutions offered by Health CS Aden Duale and SHA boss Masi Mwangangi fall short of his medical needs. 93,000 shillings is the cost of the life-saving medication that Waigwa needs urgently to keep his prostate cancer at bay and extend the length of his life. That story is augmented for you on page 3 of the Nation this morning. Also on page 3, Sheikh Omar named acting chief Qadi. The judiciary has appointed senior principal Qadi Sheikh Sukian Omar Hassan as acting chief Qadi following the death of Sheikh Abdul Halim on 10th July. Sheikh Halim had held the position since 2023. Let's take a look at page 4. Storm over hiring of 10,000 police officers. Inspector General and his deputies opposed to new system of recruitment that calls for online applications. Row over human resource function has split Police Service Commission down the middle. Now, total annual police payroll stands at 60 billion shillings, and it is at the center of a dispute between police chiefs and the National Police Service Commission. More information what the law says on police functions. Article 245 of the Constitution states that the Inspector General shall exercise independent command over National Police Service and perform any other functions prescribed by the national legislation. But Article 246 establishes the commission that its states shall recruit and appoint persons to hold or act in offices in the service, confirm appointments, and determine promotions and transfers within the National Police Service. More of that on page 4. On page 5, Ojwang's murder. DPP on the spot over Lagat petition. Petitioners allege scheme to shield the police chief. Court gives DPP August 29th deadline to file response in the matter. Now, the High Court has given the Director of Public Prosecutions up to 29th August to respond to a petition seeking criminal charges against Deputy Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja Eliud Lagat over the death of teacher Albert Ojwang. This came as Ms. Lagat's lawyer argued that the court lacks authority to compel prosecution, while rights activists maintained there is evidence linking him to the alleged police station killing in June. That story is augmented for you on page 4. Let's take a look at page 5. Senate seeks answers for 8.14 billion shillings stalled insurance payouts. Exchequer challenges cost delay, and PS Kipto says money meant for civil servants who have either died or were injured in line of duty. The Social Health Authority SHA is on the spot for failing to pay 8.14 billion shillings insurance benefits to families of public servants who died while in the line of duty. Bungoma Senator Wakoli Wafula wants the Senate to investigate SHA's failure to settle the state-funded benefit claims accrued under civil servants, National Youth Service, and teachers' enhanced insurance schemes for 3 financial years, that is 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and the 2023-2024 financial year. 29.9 million shillings is the amount owed to the family of a senior government dentist who died while treating patients during the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, let's take a look at page 7. Shares deal. Legislator eyes housing boom with shares in mortgage firm. Mr. Ishungwa revealed that he took out a loan to finance the purchase. Regulatory filings show that Kikuyu MP bought 18,642,043 shares in housing finance valued at 138.3 million shillings from the open market. So 18.6 million is the number of housing finance shares with a value of 138 million shillings that Mr. Ishungwa bought. You want to catch up with that on page 7. Let's take a look at page 8. MP's rift grows over bill on Senate's expanded powers. Wetangula says rivalry normal. What matters is National Assembly, Senate living up to their mandates. Senators want a say in vetting of cabinet ministers, PSS, and budget-making process. Now, let's delve into that a little bit. A silent sibling rivalry is brewing in Parliament over a bill seeking to expand Senate's legislative mandate. The Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2025, which was introduced last month, wants to give senators a power to vet and approve nominees as well as remove holders of independent offices and constitutional commissions. You want to catch up with that augmented for you on page 8 of the Daily Nation this morning. On page 10, Kuppet on warpath with the Teacher Service Commission over teachers' stalled careers. Unions have long accused the TSC of neglecting fair career growth for educators. Union will resend a list of 130,000 teachers to the TSC for immediate promotion. Now, the teachers' employer has been urged to promote more than 130,000 of its workers who have been stuck in the same job groups for decades. Citing recent reforms in the National Police Service Commission as a precedent, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, Kuppet, is demanding that the Teacher Service Commission effect the promotions immediately. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen last week announced sweeping charges to the National Police Service promotion system, abolishing the recruitment for a declaration of vacancies and interviews for long-serving officers. That story is augmented for you on page 10. Now, moving on to page 12, pre-visitation. Mbadi State to retain 35% shares in KPC. Government also wants Uganda to have a stake in Kenya pipeline, says Treasury CS. Now, Treasury is engaging a transaction advisor as it looks to offload 65% shares, CS says. Now, the Treasury has said the government will retain 35% shareholding in Kenya Pipeline Company if a proposed privatization goes ahead. National Treasury CS John Mbadi told a joint committee of the National Assembly that is scrutinizing a sessional paper on the proposed sale of shares that the government will offload 65%. And Wajir East MP Mohammed said, and I quote, "Why are we selling a company that is the golden goose? KPC gives the government 6 billion shillings annually. Are we selling the company at a throwaway price to create oligarchs?" So those are some of the questions raised yesterday during that appearance of the National Treasury CS Mbadi while appearing before that committee. On page 14 this morning, controversy. Court holds a state bid to import 500,000 tons of duty-free rice. The court will on Thursday decide whether to extend or lift the suspension. Imports were meant to cushion consumers against rising food prices and ease pressure on the domestic market. Now, the High Court has stopped a government plan to import 500,000 tons of grade 1 milled white rice following a petition by the Farmers' Party, which argues the move would harm local growers, retailers, and suppliers. Justice Edward Murithi, sitting at the High Court in Kerugoya yesterday, issued interim orders halting the importation pending the hearing and determination of the case. The suspension covers Gazette notices issued on July 28, 2025 by National Treasury Cabinet CS John Mbadi and Agriculture CS Mutahi Kagwe, which had authorized the duty-free importation. You want to catch up with that on page 14. Let's take a look at the expert opinion now. 15 years of Chapter 6, Test of Integrity in Leadership. So these are sentiments by Stephen Karuga, and I quote him. Consequently, the newly enacted constitution demanded that the exercise of public power have accountability. So you want to catch up with that test of integrity in leadership on page 16. Now, on the DN2 powering SMEs this morning, it's all about how Uber for trash keeps Mombasa clean. Interesting. UN report that predicted more plastic than fish in the oceans by 2050 jolted dentist into action. That story is augmented for you on the DN2 Powering SMEs article. On the Healthy Nation this morning, pesticide cartels is the top story. Now, Kenyan flower farm workers are dying from pesticides banned in other countries as powerful industry players silence critics and capture regulators. That story is beefed up for you on page 4 and page 5 of the DN2 Healthy Nation article. Let's move on and, take a look at the county news. We start with the contrast. Ruto's devolution scorecard shows both gains and pains. To supporters, Ruto is committed to devolution, but critics accuse him of failing to resolve persistent issues. Some governors accuse the president of digging his feet on challenges affecting counties. All right. More than 1,000 days into President William Ruto's tenure, his administration's record on devolution presents a study in contrast, marked by both progress and persistent shortcomings. To supporters, President Ruto has shown a firm commitment to devolved governance, working with governors across the political divide and launching regional development projects. Now, in Homa Bay showcases its tourism gems as Counties Forum gets underway. Now, Homa Bay County is set to use the 2025 Devolution Conference to showcase its wealth of natural and cultural attractions, positioning itself as a premier destination in the Western tourism circuit. On Sunday, Governor Gladys Wanga led fellow governors and delegates on a curated tour of the region's top attractions, saying, and I quote, Homa Bay is uniquely blessed with tourist sites found nowhere else in the world. This excursion is a chance to show our guests the country's tourism potential and investment opportunities. End of quote. Let's move on to more county news. We start with urbanization. Wamatangi makes case for thicker city in a Senate. County already undertaking infrastructure improvements. Governor says elevation of the town would attract more investments. 10 billion shillings is the amount the governor said the county and national governments plan to invest in infrastructure, water, health, education, trade, sports, and other critical sectors. In matters devolution, Bill seeks to have counties allocated 5% of fuel levy cash for roads. Now, county governments will receive funds from the Road Maintenance Levy Fund for the maintenance, rehabilitation, and development of county roads within their jurisdictions if MPs approve a new bill into law. The Kenya Roads Amendment Bill 2025, sponsored by Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma, seeks to amend the Kenya Roads Board Act Cap 408A on the classification of roads and proposes that counties be allocated at least 5% of the total proceeds from the fund. In Machakos County this morning, issuing of title deeds unlock football facility project. Now, the long-awaited Football Kenya Federation / FIFA Technical Center project will start before the end of the year following renewed commitment from the parties. During the handing over of the title deed for the land, Governor Wavinya Ndeti commended the current FKF President Hussein Mohammed for taking up the project. Right, let's shift gears and take a look at the international scene. We'll start with the conflict. Now, Europe races to influence Trump ahead of meeting. Talk seeks to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. US President and his Russian counterpart are scheduled to meet on Friday. That is top story making the headlines on page 22. Briefly, in the New Delhi, India decries Pakistan Army Chief's remarks. India on Monday accused its neighbor Pakistan of saber-rattling and irresponsibility after media reports on remarks about nuclear threats in South Asia made by Pakistan's army chief while on a visit to the United States. Now, in Oslo, Wealth Fund ends Israel Asset Management Pact. Norway's $2 trillion sovereign wealth fund said on Monday it is terminating contracts with asset managers handling its Israeli investments and has divested parts of its portfolio in the country over the situation in Gaza and the West Bank. The announcement follows an urgent review launched last week following media reports that the fund had built a stake in an Israeli jet engine group that provides services to Israel's armed forces, including the maintenance of fighter jets. You want to catch up with that on page 22. Also this morning, soldiers in Mali arrested over alleged coup plot. Now, dozens of soldiers have been arrested in Mali accused of plotting to topple the country's military leaders, sources say. The wave of arrests, which reportedly went on overnight and are expected to continue, reflect increased tensions within the military government, with reports that a jihadist insurgency in the north is gaining ground. The authorities have not commented on the arrests. Initial reports indicated that Jen Abbas Dembele, the former governor of the Mopti region, and Jen Nema Sagara, one of the few women at the highest levels of the Malian army, were among those detained. Now, we take a quick look at what's making the headlines in the business sector. We start with finance. Cash transfer firms cut ties with agents and forex bureaus. Most of the affected forex bureaus are located in Nairobi. CBK says a move informed by customer preference to use digital platforms. Key figures: 34 is the remaining agents after their count was cut by more than 34%. 72 are the outlets that are now licensed to carry out the remittance businesses, up from 61 in 2023. Now, let's take a look at the energy sector briefly. DTB and Sun King roll out solar kits financing. Diamond Trust Bank has partnered with Sun King to introduce unsecured loans to enable peri-urban homeowners to install solar power systems. This initiative gives homeowners affordable access to clean energy, helps reduce electricity costs, and addresses frequent power outages. You want to catch up with that on page 23. In the insurance sector, Old Mutual launches cover for women. Old Mutual has launched a new insurance product targeted at women in Kenya. Dubbed Lady Anchor, it bundles health, life, and general insurance solutions into a package with the option to incorporate investments. Also, we stay with the investment sector. Centum receives 3.2 billion shillings from 64% CDN stake. Now, Centum Investment Company PLC received 3.2 billion shillings for its 64% stake in CDN Bank in October 2023, leaving it with a minority ownership that has been diluted from a series of rights issues. Centum initially signed an agreement with Nigeria's Access Bank, but the deal fell through, with the investment firm subsequently selling most of its shares in CDN to multiple institutions. Now, with that, we move into the field and take a look at some sporting action. We start with para-athletics. Now, para-athletes gear up for championship. Kenyan squad to start training for the global event. Sprinters Ongeta and Neema to run for Kenya for the first time in India. Let's take a look at football. Now, Palace lose appeal against Europa League demotion at CAS. Now, Crystal Palace's appeal against UEFA's decision to drop them from the Europa League to the third tier conference league was dismissed by the Court of Arbitration for Sport yesterday. UEFA demoted Palace while allowing Olympic Lyonnais to play the Europa League, as at the time the Eagle Football Group were majority owners of Lyon, while the chairman, John Textor, owned a controlling stake in Palace. All right. Let's take a look at Chan, the art of cheering, how fans lend color to Kenya's matches. Harambee Stars coach McCarthy happy with support from local fans. Supporters have been turning up in large numbers at Kasarani Stadium to cheer for Harambee Stars. All right. Now, with this, you have to be aware of, the measures that have been put in place to curb the high number of fans that are going to attend the matches moving forward after, the committee that is spearheading Chan said the security issue is at stake. Among the measures they gave includes, reducing the number of the attendants to 60%, that is 27,000 people will be attending. They have also suspended the ticketing, the online ticketing, and they have advised that they will give more directives on the way forward in the coming days. So that means you will not get your ticket on mook.com, which is the official supplier of the Chan tickets for the matches that are being played in Kenya. Let's take a look at the cover page of the Daily Nation. Breach of stadium security, big headache for organizers. Now, CAF demands tangible actions to address security lapses in Kenya's matches at MISC Kasarani Stadium. This is what I was just telling you. So Harambee Stars lead Group A standings after 2 victories and a draw. Now, Confederation of African Football CAF has demanded, quote-unquote, tangible actions from Kenya to address breach of stadium security by fans during Harambee Stars matches at the ongoing 2024 African Nations Championships CHAN. Ahead of Kenya's highly anticipated Group A clash against Morocco on Sunday, scores of impatient fans overwhelmed security officers and jumped over the gates at the 48,000-seater Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. The security breach comes barely a week after CAF's disciplinary board imposed a total fine of 2.5 million shillings on Football Kenya Federation due to breach of CAF's disciplinary code as well as safety and security regulations during two Group A matches held on August 3rd. The fixtures were Kenya's 1-0 win over two-time CHAN champions, the DRC, at Kasarani, and Morocco's 2-0 win over Angola at the 18,000-seater Nyayo National Stadium. So, as I told you again, CAF has demanded that the number of football fans attending the CHAN at Kasarani to be reduced by 40%. That means only 60% will be occupied, and that translates to 27,000 people in attendance. So with that story of CHAN, we come to the tail end of the morning momentum this morning. Thank you so much for watching, and we urge you to keep watching Younib TV. See you tomorrow at the studio, same time, same place for the morning momentum. Until then, do have a beautiful Tuesday ahead of you. My name is Alphonse Ouma. Bye-bye for now.